The Linux Mint User Manual. Bet you didn't even know there was one. Well, there is one. Nobody reads it. And it's just as well because it took me a great deal of effort to get through it. This video series is going to cover the user manual for Linux Mint. I'm going to start at the beginning, the update manager. They give you a little disclaimer as well, saying that unfortunately they also sometimes introduce new issues onto your computer system, and they call these regressions, which are an attempt to create a useful update to a program or security, and it has some adverse effects. Checking the DKMS. This is the thing I love about these people who write these people about the writers of manuals. Some people are so into what they're doing they don't realize that other people have no idea what they're talking about. What is a DKMS status? Checking the DKMS status. If you already know what a DKMS is, put it down in the comments. Tell me, because I haven't a clue. Every operating system has this little tool that periodically backs up your operating system, not your files, but just your operating system and your settings and what have you, just in case your system crashes. Well, Linux Mint is no different. They call it time shift, and it's a good little tool. We're going to go over this as well, and kernel updates. And if you don't know what a kernel is, I had to look it up too. I know you see every now and then kernels, and even in Windows operating system, you would find kernels, kernel something, something, something. Kernel updates. How do you explain this? So the kernel is the central part of your operating system. This is the entire brain is all written into this kernel. It does all the communication with all your hardware and your peripherals, and every program that you put on there, it goes through the kernel. In Linux Mint, kernel updates bring both security patches and bug fixes, and sometimes even new features. I'm reading this right out of the manual. The kernel is responsible for everything. So if you get a kernel update, it's not really an update, but it's a new installation. The kernel just gets installed and replaces the previous one. So this is handy because if a kernel crashes, then you can go back in and you can revert back to the previous kernel, and really there's no harm done. I've never had a problem with kernels. But I never really understood what they do anyway. But I do now, to a certain extent. Maybe I'm wrong. Fortunately or unfortunately, my system's up to date. It's fortunate for me because my system's up to date. It's unfortunate for you because you don't get to see the actual update process. But that's okay. So we're going to click way up here. I don't know if you guys can see my mouse. It's over here on file. The file is a useless thing. You either close window or quit. I've never gone out this way. I've always clicked the little blue button in the corner, so that's just something redundant. I'm going to hit refresh and see what it does here. Oh, it's updating the cache, loading a software list, and it's going to tell me what. If this is the kind of content that you like to see, please hit that like and subscribe down there. It's going to tell me my system's up to date. That's okay. We're still going to go through some stuff. I'm going to click on the edit over here in the corner. You see it, just popped up. and it's going to say preferences. We're going to look at some of these preferences here. I'm going to make this full screen. Under options, so the interface, hide the update manager after applying updates. This is a toggle. So the update manager shows way down in the bottom. See down here, I'm circling it. This little shield looking thing. I leave it. It's always on my taskbar. I always leave it there. I mean, you can do what you want, but if you ask it to hide the update, where is it there? Hide the update. It's going to disappear after you apply your update changes. Only show a tray icon when updates are available in case of errors. Again, this is another thing. I leave this off, and I can leave this off because I'm always seeing my shield down there, and the shield is going to get a little notification dot on it when that happens. So let's turn this on, and that's going, at this point it's going to be redundant because the shield's always there. It's going to it's always there. So this is redundant, and this you should not be able to turn on unless you've turned this one on. So you turn this one on and turn this one on. Basically that's what I'm saying. But if you hide the update manager, then maybe it's a good idea to turn on the notification icon right there. I leave them off. I like them off. I like to see my little guy down there in the corner. This is something that I've only started doing recently. It's refreshing the list of updates automatically. And so I'm asking it now to check once a day, every day. So the first one here, can we even highlight that? No, we can't. So the first one, the first refresh the list of updates after 1 day of installing the previous updates. So once you've done your updates, you're just going to wait a day and then install it, or search for new updates. And then it's going to check every day after that. Okay? I leave it like this. Otherwise, you leave it off. The only way you're going to know that there's an update is if the little icon down at the bottom here has a dot on it. And you're only going to know that if you leave the hide the update manager after applying updates. You have to leave that off. So it's very complicated. If this is on here and you don't have auto refresh enabled, you're never going to see if you're going to have an update. And if you have this one hidden, the only way you're going to see if there's an update is by enabling the second one, only show a tray icon when updates are available. So it can be tricky. Early on, I didn't realize any of this, and I was not getting any updates. I didn't realize there was updates until I just stumbled across it one day, and I had like, I don't know, maybe 300-400 updates that needed to get done. Didn't know. So if you're going to hide the update manager, then enable the tray icon to show up when you need an update. Believe me, it happens. It happens a lot. So back to the auto refresh. We're going to enable this. It's going to check for updates a day after I've installed updates, and then it's going to check it every day afterward. And then when you see when an update's available, you'll have a little dot down there in the bottom, and you go get your updates. Wow, that's a lot of explaining for something that's pretty simple. Show a notification if an update has been available and you haven't done anything with it for 7 days. So you're asking a notification. Notifications they just come out of the blue, and they just kind of like pop up on the top of your screen and say, notification. This has happened. Notifications are enabled specifically by every application. So it's not that you have it in your system settings that everything is going to be there. Um, I think it's in every properties like notification of such a thing. So you can enable them and disable them, I think, from every application. I have to look into that. That's my assumption now. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. We can figure that out. Show a notification if an update is older than this many days old. This never happens to me because even though I've got it enabled, the notifications, I pretty much update daily. If there's a software package that needs an update, I just do it. And I'm going to say this because even though in the update in the user manual, they keep stressing about the risk of updating software, kernels and security, and all these regressions. A lot of these warnings, but I've yet to have any instances of that. So I'm very confident that your updates are clean. I'm not, I don't have these issues. Okay, so let's go into packages. Packages over here, options, we were on packages. Let's go to packages. And it says here, changes made here will not affect automation. Automation is the next category, which we're going to learn about next. The packages here. You know where you got the screen that says, I don't want any packages from this. I don't want any updates for this program or that program. This is where this is stored. So here it says your update types. Looking at the cinnamon spice updates, I'll take those. I'll take Flatpak updates. Cinnamon spice updates. Cinnamon is the desktop environment that I'm working in. There's different types of desktop environments. It's basically the style of the house that you live in, whether you live in a mansion or a bungalow or a split level or a condo or a chalet. That's what I would call your desktop environment. So there's all different kinds. I don't even know what they all are, but I know that I started with cinnamon, got accustomed to cinnamon. I like cinnamon. It flows very easy. It's very stable because it's very popular. So it keeps getting attention. And so it works. So that's a pretty good analogy. I like that. Okay. So cinnamon. The cinnamon updates, I'll take those, and I'm going to take the Flatpak updates. But here we have blocked packages. So for one reason or another, I've decided I don't want any more updates from these packages because I don't use, or I've stopped using the application, but I'm not ready to uninstall it yet. So once I uninstall the package, I'm not going to get any more updates for it because my system doesn't need to, because I'm not using it. So I've stopped using Firefox. And so since I stopped using Firefox, I thought I'm going to stop updates on it too, because it's just, you know, pointless, I guess. It's not, it increases the space on my hard drive, or uses the space on my hard drive. And so I did that, and I also did a LibreWolf because somebody said that LibreWolf was safe. And so I did a little test with LibreWolf and decided that it's no different than anything else. So I continue to use Brave. So LibreWolf, I want to play a little bit with it before I decide to throw it away. So this is what the packages are. Off to automation. So whatever you change in the packages isn't going to affect your automation. So this is you can see here I've not enabled anything on automation, but we're still going to go through it anyway. So package updates performed as not performed as root on a daily basis. Whenever you come across in Linux Mint, you're going to come across root, and that means that you are the top picker. The root is the end all and be all, the top of the pyramid, the 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 principal link in the chain, the big guy. The root is the big guy. Um, so apply updates automatically. No, do not apply updates automatically. Even though I trust all the updates, I want to know what's going into my system. So if you're healthy and you eat healthy, you're always conscious of what goes into your body because you want your body to perform at its peak level. I treat my computer the same way. I want to see what's going into my body and and be aware of all that. Other updates performed when you log in. Update cinnamon spices automatically. No, do not. Do not. I want to know that. Yeah. This is all a question of whether you want to be in control of your machine or whether you want um, the machine to be in control of your machine. Because basically, if you're just giving over power to your machine, and not that I'm suspicious of it or anything, I'm not comfortable with that. I want to be in control. I want to know what's what, right? So no updates automatically. If I do this, this changes a lot of stuff. Anytime you're asked to authenticate something, it's because it changes it on the very primary level. Like, so every time I see this, I know that it's going to affect a lot of the back end stuff. So I don't. Remove obsolete kernels and dependencies. A dependency is a small file that supports a larger file. Then that's what the preferences are. That's all I'm going to go through with preferences. What's after that? So after we've gone through all of the preferences, so we're going to go into this system snapshots thing, and system snapshot is going to ask for your authentication, your password. This is your big guy. This is the big guy, right? Your administrator password, just to get into into the root directly. So in the time shift here, it comes up the main screen is going to show you the last snapshot that you did. So my last time snap was yesterday, and we can view time shift logs and about. Okay, we don't need that. And so if you're setting up a time shift on a schedule, you just go over here to the wizard and select a snapshot type. I have no idea what these are, so don't ask me. I don't know. This here says snapshots are created by creating copies of system files using rsync and hard linking unchanged files from previous snapshot. All files are copied when the first snapshot is created. Subsequent snapshots are incremental. Unchanged files will be hard linked from the previous snapshot if available. So that's okay. It's just explaining what to do. And if I do here, and it's going to calculate the size of the file. This is basically what I use. I don't do anything more. It's going to ask you what hard drive and where to put it, that kind of thing, right? And then it's going to ask, do you want your snapshots monthly, weekly, daily, hourly, or every time you boot? I'm going to go Monthly, um, if you use your computer every day, monthly might not be frequent enough. Um, if you never shut off your computer, some people don't. Boot will never be enough. Hourly, man, you gotta really use your computer a lot. Uh, anyway, I have mine on weekly because I think I use my computer an average of, well, 2 hours every day. I'm on my computer for 2 hours every day. And I'm on my computer on the weekends doing this kind of stuff. I think about 6, 7 hours, maybe 8 or more if I get really involved. And if we start talking conspiracies, I'm here for the duration. So there we go. Schedule snapshots are enabled, of course. Okay, and that would be it. And then you say next, and it's just going to give you the where everything's going, and that's that. So that's, I'm going to go back because I don't want to keep going with that. So restore. Remember in Windows operating systems they have the restore. Is it restore? Yeah, I think it's called restore. It's called the same thing. So you can go back to your last setup. You can revert back. I don't like reverting. You can delete some of these snapshots. Here's, if I highlight this one, hit delete. It's going to ask me, are you sure? Are you sure you want to delete the snapshot? No, I'm not sure. Browse. I don't know what I'm browsing. I don't understand why I would want to browse, but it's there. Settings. Oh, this is the same kind of thing. Type, location, schedule, users, filters. That's it. That's it. We're doing okay. So that's the time shift. What else is there? Software sources. So I'm very careful with these kinds of things. Official repositories. Now here's what we were getting into before, the PPA stuff. So let's look again at this PPA stuff. PPA is personal package archives, right? And these are, oh, you can set up your own. If you're a software developer, you could develop your own software. You could set up your own personal package archives. So this used to be confusing because I used to see this proprietary stuff, and I used to think, the PPAs, does that have something to do with that? But it doesn't. It doesn't. These are software programmers, software developers, I call them. Yeah. And so they play around with software. They create their own archives. Download at your own risk. These have been untested, untried, and because if they were tested and proven reasonably safe, then they would be on Linux Mint's official repositories. So everything that we went through with the whole update security stuff, all that kind of backup stuff, all this, this is the reason why. Because sometimes you're putting in a software that doesn't have a big history of testing, and it's not malicious. These are developers that are still working and honing their craft on this piece of software. So, I mean, everything's got to get tested, and they might have released it as beta test or something, and you're going to install it. And so, learning this update, man, what we can do to revert back to previous configurations is useful. But man, you have to remember the last thing you did before it got screwed up. And this is a good example. So if you want to add repositories, you have to go into, well, you may be able to add them from here. Let's have a look. Let's go back to this. So those are the official repositories. these all come into your update manager. These two, the main one, have come in with the installation, right? The source code repositories, I turn that off. Debug symbols, I turn that off. Unstable programs, I turn that off. I don't even want to know. I don't want to play with that stuff. I'm not a programmer, and so it's funny when you know what your skill set is, how far you can go with something. That's just it. So I'm done with that. So PPAs here, I have no person. What do they call? What do they call the PPAs again? They call them personal package archives. Man, acronyms are just tough on me. So I have no others enabled. Additional repositories, I have no others enabled. These are something you use at your own risk. Get on there. And because of that, I have no authentication keys. I have one authentication key, and that's the one that I plug in for my user, and that's it. And maintenance, if something goes wrong with a update, this is where you have to come to fix it, apparently. So fix merge list problems. A merge list problems is when an update has problems shaking hands with the existing software that you have. You can click on this, and it's whatever problem I had before. The problem was fixed. And then it says reload the cache. If I hit OK, it's going to reload the cache. This is what that looks like. Click here to update the APT cache. APT is the application something. So it's updating the cache. Okay, and then the next one says purge residual configuration. I think I understand what that means. When an update happens, sometimes it has to back up something so that it can install something or update something. And sometimes it does, or sometimes it doesn't delete what it's backed up after it doesn't need it anymore. And purging residual configurations just does that. There is no more residual configurations on the system. So you will see a notification of an update. If an update is done, it'll, as it's going through all the update, blah, 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 you see the little windows that show up. And if you're fast enough to read them, it'll say what it's doing. It'll say updating the system, or it'll say backing up configuration files, updating the system, deleting backup files, or whatever. And it'll say go through all their steps, and the last one will be deleting. And that's, some of them don't. And that's why every now and then it's a good idea to come and check and purge. Remove duplicate entries. Same thing. Some add missing keys. You mean there's such a thing as missing keys? No missing keys were found. Remove foreign packages. Let's have a look. I've got 2 foreign packages here. Okay, and we're gonna check these out. Irian webcam is a foreign package. And it's not like it comes from another part of the world. It means that the packages below are installed on your computer, but not present in the repositories. So these are programs that I've downloaded from websites that I didn't find in Linux repositories. Irian webcam was one of those. Net download helper.co app. That one is, I don't even know where it came from. I'll bet you that one. Well, you know what? Let's have a look. Do I have Brave open? No, I don't. Open it again. and it was called net dot download helper. It is right there. Co-app. Is a companion application for the video download helper browser extension, providing it with additional features not available directly from the add-on. Necessary for proper function video downloader extension. Da, 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 da. Where do I use that? Like, what's this one here? Video downloader, video downloader. You know what? This is one of those rare instances where I'm going to take a chance. And I'm going to say, you know what? If that's an add-on that I installed for something and I'm using it, then it'll show up that I need it and I'll do it again. If it's something that I never use, I'll never miss it. So we're going to highlight net download helper.co app. And that's the version. And let's remove it. Removing the packages. I might regret this. I may go online and try and download some BitChute video and find out that I can't. Anyway, so that's it. So I removed a foreign package that I don't need anymore, and downgrade foreign packages. So I only have one foreign package. It's not had any updates, but if it did have an update, or 2 updates, or 3 updates, or 4 updates, and the update that I don't like, I can downgrade it here. So that's what that is. Anyway, that takes us through all of the software sources. Good stuff. Right on. Let's have a look at the view. So columns, visible columns. It's going to say type, package, old version, new version, origin, size. So I look at all these history of updates. Let's have a look. The date, type it was. I guess your history, you can make your history go back more, but I don't even look. It's first time ever I've looked at my history. Linux kernels. So this is what we were talking about earlier. So with this part of Linux kernels, you can revert back to an older kernel. If the new kernel that you just updated gets a little messy, then you can revert back here. And there's also a way to do it when you shut off your machine as well. The best explanation on how to fix that came from right here, Foss Linux. So I'll put a link to this down below. It's how to install and try different Linux kernels in Linux Mint. So the warning says proceed with caution. I've never done this. I've never clicked past this screen. So it says here, let's boom this up. I wish I could zoom it in. Can I zoom it? No. Installing a new kernel can sometimes cause problems, especially if you are using proprietary drivers. If you don't know what a proprietary driver is, it's a driver specifically written by the manufacturer of the hardware that you're using on your system. If you're using NVIDIA sound card or video card, whatever the heck it is, NVIDIA has its own proprietary drivers, which are different than the Linux drivers. And so, although the Linux drivers work reasonably well, some people prefer to use the proprietary drivers. Anyway, so if you're running proprietary drivers, sometimes the kernels don't agree with it, don't speak a different language, kind of thing, I think. You guys, here's a disclaimer right now. I don't always know what I'm talking about, but this is how I understand it. So I'm not lying. I'm just wrong. Okay, that's the best way to put it. I heard Owen Benjamin say that once, and I thought, oh, that's priceless. That's the best disclaimer ever. Um, so anyway, it says that these things can happen. You can lose your Wi-Fi, your video acceleration. You can get a black screen on startup, a random system freezes. You know what? This is a beautiful thing that Linux does that Windows cannot tolerate. Windows cannot tolerate being shut down badly. Linux, you can power it down, power it up. You can power it down while it's trying to power up. It always reverts back to zero. Always goes back to zero, no power. So I never worry about that kind of stuff. In the old days when I was trying all kinds of stuff, thinking I could master this Linux thing in a day, I couldn't. Um, I would put stuff and it would just start to boot, and it was like, oh, that doesn't look good to me, and I would shut it off mid boot, and it would start all over again, and it didn't have any ill effects. So this is a good thing. So it takes away some of the fear of trying something new because you know it's always going to revert back to zero. Right. Um, if you face any of these issues, don't panic. Reboot. There you go. Say, maybe I was right. Press and hold the shift key to show the boot menu. This is what Foss Linux is going to go through this whole process. So I don't want to go any further into it because I'm not sure what I'm doing. But I'm going to click to continue anyway because I kind of know. I can imagine that there's going to be a point when I won't be able to go any further without committing. Okay. So here are currently using the following kernels: 6.8.0-58.generic, supported until April 2029. So this kernel I picked up in, looks like October 6th. 6/11. No, whatever. From 2024. So it's going to last me 5 years. So I've been running it for 5 months, 6 months, and it's not giving me any problems. So I'm not gonna try and revert it. But and then it shows you the 3 previous ones. If I go to 6.88, whatever that means, these are all the other ones. And these have all been superseded over the years. So basically, every time you upgrade your version, I think I started at Mint 18 and 18, 1, 2, however many blah blah blahs. And basically, this is the most current kernel is what I'm operating. I don't see any reason to go back because it hasn't been working yet. And I can remove the kernel. It won't ever let you remove a kernel that you're currently using. So you have to revert back to a previous kernel before removing the. Don't do this. Just don't do this because it's a dangerous game. These guys who talk you through it, they do this. This is their hobby. This is their fun thing. They're playing with computers that if it blows up, it blows up. We'll just get another computer, try it again. I don't want to play that game. So that's all I'm going to say about kernels for that. Yeah, out of there. So what else do we have? Linux kernel information. What is this telling us? Process ID, login file. Oh, just showing me what, well, I guess Linux isn't free from tracking you either. It tracks you. it's just not going to communicate it because that little box that says send the bug reports to them. If you click on it, this is the kind of stuff they're going to send. So they can look at it, so they can look at it, analyze it, and make sure everything is running smoothly. It helps to a certain extent, I guess. But for the basic user, for the simple user like you and I, do we need to report all of our issues back to Linux Mint headquarters? Probably not. If you have a severe crash and it's unexplainable to you and it says send this report, yeah, maybe. But I have you do that by a case-to-case basis. I'm not willing to just randomly log all my keystrokes and let anybody look at it. I don't know who's on the other end. All right, and so that was view help. Welcome screen, keyboard shortcuts, contents about. These are things you can investigate on your own. That's all I have to show you today on the update manager. Kind of closes it in. We've seen it all. Yay! That'll do it. So I'm going to try and do one of these videos every couple of weeks, and we'll, over the course of the next several, it's going to be months, because this is boring stuff to go through. But I hope that this is going to get you through a little bit of the update manager and understand what's happening with your computer as you enjoy using Linux. Thanks for watching Hooked on Linux. See you again.